When Daniel met Sofia, it felt less like the beginning of a relationship and more like the continuation of something that had started long before they were born. They met on a rainy Thursday evening in Chicago. Daniel was sitting alone in a half-empty cafe, staring at his laptop but not really working. Sofia walked in, shaking rain from her coat, frustration written all over her face. The only free seat was across from him. "Do you mind?" she asked. He shook his head. That one shared table turned into a 4-hour conversation. They talked about everything: childhood dreams, failed careers, music, fears, and the strange feeling of being lost in your late 20s while everyone else seemed to have life figured out. By the end of the night, Daniel walked her home under one umbrella. 6 months later, they moved in together. At first, their relationship felt effortless. They cooked dinners together, burned pancakes on Sunday mornings, and stayed up late watching documentaries neither of them finished. Sofia was fiery, emotional, spontaneous. Daniel was calm, analytical, grounded. They balanced each other. But love doesn't stay in the honeymoon phase forever. A year later, cracks began to form. Daniel's marketing career started taking off. Promotions, late meetings, business trips. Sofia, a freelance photographer, was struggling. Clients canceled. Bills piled up. Her confidence eroded. The imbalance grew. He came home exhausted. She waited home feeling invisible. Small arguments replaced laughter. "You're never here anymore," she said one night. "I'm doing this for us," he replied. "For us? Or for yourself?" He didn't answer. The breaking point came quietly. No screaming. No broken plates. Just distance. They began living like roommates, passing each other in hallways. Short conversations. Forced smiles. One night, Daniel came home early, hoping to surprise her with dinner. Instead, he found her sitting on the balcony, crying. Not softly. Not gracefully. Broken. "I don't recognize us anymore," she whispered when he sat beside her. "I feel alone, even when you're here." Her words hit harder than any accusation. "I thought giving us a better life would make you happy," he said. "I don't need a better life," she replied. "I need you." For a moment, it seemed like things might change. Daniel tried coming home earlier. Planned dates. Bought flowers. But something invisible had shifted. Effort felt mechanical, not natural. Then came the night that changed everything. Daniel had a major presentation, the biggest of his career. Weeks of preparation. It could secure him a partnership stake in the firm. Sofia had an important gallery showcase the same night, her first real opportunity in months. They promised to support each other. But that morning, Daniel got a call. The presentation was moved later, overlapping with her showcase completely. "I'll come after," he told her. "You said that last time," she replied quietly. "This is my future, Sofia." "And what am I?" she asked. He hesitated. And that hesitation said everything. He didn't go to the gallery. His presentation was a success. Applause. Handshakes. Champagne. But when he checked his phone later, he saw 12 missed calls. And one message. "I needed you tonight. I guess I know where I stand now." He rushed home. The apartment was half empty. Her camera gear was gone. Clothes missing. The balcony chair, her favorite spot, was bare. On the kitchen counter sat a single envelope. Inside was a photo of them from their first cafe meeting. On the back she had written, "Love shouldn't feel lonely." The following months were brutal. Daniel got the promotion, the raise, the recognition. But success felt hollow. He'd come home to silence. No music. No laughter. No burnt pancakes. He tried calling her dozens of times. No response. He threw himself into work, but depression crept in quietly, the same way distance had crept into their relationship. He had everything he thought he wanted, except the one person he built it for. A year passed. Then, unexpectedly, fate intervened. Daniel attended a charity art auction, a corporate obligation more than a personal choice. As he walked through the gallery, one photograph froze him in place. It was a black-and-white image of a couple sitting at a cafe table, sharing an umbrella beside them. Their faces weren't visible, but he knew. The title read, "The Night It Began." Artist, Sofia Reyes. His chest tightened. Then he heard her voice behind him. "I wondered how long it would take you to find that one." He turned. She looked different, stronger, calmer, radiant in a way he hadn't seen before. "I'm sorry," he said instantly. "For everything." She smiled gently. "I know." They walked through the gallery together, stopping at photos that documented their relationship, moments he didn't even know she had captured. Laughter, arguments, distance, growth. Then came the twist he never expected. One photograph showed Daniel sitting alone at his laptop, the night they first met. But Sofia hadn't taken it. "I don't understand," he said. She took a breath. "I came to that cafe because I had just decided to leave Chicago and start over in another country." He looked at her, stunned. "You saved me that night without knowing it," she continued. "You reminded me life could still surprise me." "And I still lost you," he said quietly. She shook her head. "No, you didn't lose me." He frowned. "Then why did you leave?" "Because we were drowning together. I needed to know if we could survive apart, before we tried again." Silence hung between them. "So, this is closure?" he asked. She stepped closer. "That depends." "On what?" "On whether you've learned the difference between building a life and sharing one." Emotion tightened his throat. "I have," he said. "Too late, maybe. But I have." She studied his face, searching for the man she once loved. Then she reached into her bag and handed him a gallery invitation. Her next exhibition. Title, Second Chances. "I don't believe in perfect relationships anymore," she said softly. "But I believe in rebuilt ones." "Is that what this is?" he asked. She smiled, not with certainty, but with hope. "That's up to us." Months later, they were back at a cafe table. Different city, different pace, same umbrella between them. They weren't the same people who fell in love years before. They were better, scarred, wiser, more honest. They talked more, worked less, chose presence over ambition when it mattered. And one evening, as rain tapped against the cafe windows again, Sofia looked at him and said, "You know, if you had come to my gallery that night, none of this would have happened." He nodded. "I know." She reached for his hand. "But then we wouldn't have learned how strong love becomes, after it breaks." And this time, neither of them let go. Years later, they returned to Chicago, to the same cafe where everything began. This time, there was no distance between them, no silence to fill. Just quiet understanding. As they shared one umbrella again, Daniel realized the truth. Love hadn't saved them once, it had saved them twice.